Thanks, Chris. Okay, I'm back again for another year just to give you a brief summary on what sort of happened in terms of our information delivery and things for the last year. Um, just to clarify, I'm in the midst of title change, so you'll see my title on the slide is different. It's not quite official yet, but hopefully soon. So just broadly, these are the four sort of general categories that we're talking about. The industry drilling and geochemistry data, the legacy data capture we've been doing for a number of years now. Strike, a bit on petroleum and mineral industry reporting, and finishing up with website updates. That's resourcing the territory website and product releases, just a brief summary. So legacy drilling and geochem data capture from all the industry report. Um, This is, we're still working on the Pine Creek priority areas. We've been for a while now. Obviously, historic mining areas, so there's a lot of reports, and a high percentage of those, of course, were hard copy, pre-digital, requiring extra work to capture. So we've finished the Darwin 1 to 250,000 map sheet over the last 12 months with the 199 reports captured on the Point Stewart and Mary River 100K map sheets. And that data was released in November 24. And then we've been working on the Pine Creek 50,000 map sheet, most recently on the Bachelor 100 play map sheet, 820 reports, and that's a lot. That's the most we've done, I think, on one 100,000 map sheet. So obviously it's a large, we're getting through the report numbers for, a relatively constrained area. That data is just about to be released for Bachelor. And we've started work on McKinley River, 100K, and even that's got 350 odd reports. And we'd hope we'll finish the data capture by the middle of the year and hopefully not soon after to release it. So that's just a summary for those of you who haven't been here. 12,000 odd reports when we started the overall project across the NT. This is for data capture where there was no existing data in the database for the reports, because sometimes we've got partial the capture. We obviously did the Tennant Creek and Bartley region first. We captured over 2,000 reports there up until 2022. And you can, so where we are now, there were 5,000 odd reports in Pine Creek area, and we've captured as of, I didn't update that, that's terrible. April 20 last year, we'd captured 2,315 reports. So we've captured more since then, obviously, with the Bachelor ones. The numbers here, the dip. Sorry, I can't see the. Sorry, I'm not seeing the laser. I'll just read it there on there. So we've got the dip one, which has all of the legacy drilling and geochem data capture compiled into one package. Were released in April last year, so basically ages. You can see the numbers there for the collars, the drill samples, and for all surface samples. And the about to be released dip, those are estimated numbers because we haven't got quite to publication. You can see the numbers have increased, and that's the column on the right. So we've added, near half a million records to the data set from those 100Ks in the Pine Creek area. So this is just a quick overview of the actual capture in the Pine Creek area. So this is the majority, obviously, of the capture in the last 12 months. And we have released some data across the rest of the territory for normal standard open filing as well. Just as said, showing the distribution, obviously, mainly on the Bachelor sheet and into Mary River, Point Stewart. There's always obviously some overlap. Reports don't stop at 100K or 250K map sheet boundaries. So moving on to strike. So the geochemistry changed. So we got a new geochemistry layer called Aura, and another one called Geomax assays. I'll explain a little bit here, but I won't go into too much detail because you should all attend Marianne Harvey's talk later today, because she's going to give you the detail about the change to our geochemistry and drilling data that we've released through DIP1 and is now reflected on strike. So basically, the all rock layer is all rock samples. Previously, there were two layers, and I'll come to that in the next slide. Drillmax assays, and that's the brown dots on the map, is basically the maximum assay for an analyte down a hole. So you don't know where in the hole it is. It's just telling you for any one hole what the maximum assay is. And just the other thing we've done is updated the topographic mosaic there. If you use it, you'll just notice differences depending on the area. So all rocks, it replaces the two layers that we used to have called rock chips and whole rock. So whole rock was basically mostly, a lot of it was NTGS, not all of it, and had a lot of whole rock assays analysis. Now it's one layer and you see all of the data together. And in addition to that, the attribute display for all of the geochemistry layers, not just these new ones, has been not, I would say simplified. It's definitely clearer in that all of the null assays where nothing was assayed, instead of having -999, are now showing as blank. So it gives you a lot clearer view. And as well as that, instead of multiple analytes being the multiple times with the different units of measure, it's a standardized unit of measure for each. And again, I would suggest you go to Marianne's talk and she'll give you more details on that. Excuse me. Now, those of you who came last year, I mentioned bookmarks on Strike last year, and I thought it was actually worthwhile showing it again because I found it very useful when compiling my presentation, because you can come back to your bookmark at any time. So it's available, those icons up in the toolbar there, accessed at the top where you can see the arrows going. When you do the drop down, you can see you can create and so on, but you can see the ones that you've already saved and you've given them your own name, and you just select the one that you've saved to reuse. You can share your bookmark with somebody as well, so you get a hyperlink like that on the bottom left, and you can send that to somebody so that they can go straight to something that you've want to show them. And when you save the your own bookmark, you can, all of the things are defaulted. You can choose, but it will save. You can obviously save the area, but all of the layers that you've selected saves your selection. So if you've done a query, the results will come up next time you go. So it's very useful if you haven't used it. So, excuse me, Petroleum Act. This is just something we wanted to highlight. The amendments to the Petroleum Act came in force back near the end of June 2023. One of the main things that changed, did something to get used to, was about sample submission, obviously particularly core and cuttings. We used to take pretty well 100% of everything that petroleum companies drill, because obviously the volume is the same as in mineral exploration. However, with the new Act, the amended Act, we wanted the core and cuttings to be offered before we accept it because we want to be able to choose what we put in the core stores. Obviously, holes are getting a much longer with horizontal drilling, and a lot of the same geology has been covered. And there's obviously a limit to what we can put in our core facility. So it's a lot of space, and we don't have a lot of duplicated geology. So the core and cuttings in particular should be offered to us within 6 months after rig release, and before it is physically transported. And we just want to emphasise that for petroleum companies because it's something that they weren't used to doing. And ideally, it would be when we've got the initial well completion report because we like to have some information about the holes to make a decision. And that decision can be, it's an authorization that, yes, we want it to be submitted and we might take 100%, but we might only want part of it. But we can also authorize it to say, yes, we want it, but maybe not at this stage, but you keep it and store it for a period of time and then submit it later. Or we'll authorize so it can be disposed of in, you can keep it or you can dispose of it as you will. And we just want to emphasize that because there's been a couple of instances where core things have turned up. Of course, Tom, we haven't had that chance to review it. And for everything like this, all of the information relevant that you need to do about that is in the relevant guidelines, and this, obviously the petroleum reporting guidelines. So we've been digitising the hard copy seismic sections that were submitted for the 2000s mostly. And some of these are very old, going back into the 60s. So we thought we'd finished the main project of vectorisation and discovered one more survey, the Burt Range 2D 1970s survey in the Bonaparte Basin. So we digitised that, and that was released around mid last year. So we've digitised everything that we've identified at the moment that's suitable for normal digitisation. However, we identified another 5 surveys that were deemed suitable for manual vectorisation, so a whole lot more work. In fact, we have to send the data off to the UK or the thing to some of the work to be done. So we've done 2, we've completed 2. So that's the Aldunda 2D and the Mount Charlotte 2D in the Amadeus Basin. That data was just released in March. And there's one in the Nalia Basin and another 2 in the Amadeus Basin to go, and they're in progress. The only thing I would say about those is that because of the age of them, they're all in the 60s. We're not sure that we can actually successfully vectorize all the ones we've got, or we might have some missing data. Just to show you where they are. These are the ones just requiring manual vectorization. Got the locations marked there so you can see where they are. I still can't see where my pointer is, sorry. But so, as I said, we did Aldunda and Mount Charlotte, the 2 labelled on the bottom left. So we've got Fink River 1965 to go close to Mount Charlotte, and we've got Napaby in the Nalia Basin. Unfortunately, that would give us quite a nice area, but I think we're missing sections from that. And the West Walker Creek one from 65, they're sort of towards a bit north of central Amadeus Basin. When these are done, and as I said, they're in progress, the final 3, fingers crossed, we've done as much as we've identified all we can for digitising all of our seismic data. So minerals title that. There isn't much here, but we just wanted to emphasise increased focus on compliance coming up. So it's just something for you to take notice of. Really encourage you to read the reporting guidelines about what should be in a report and the format to be used. So we make it as simple as possible. So there will be a focus on the data formats, missing content elements, and one example is the exploration index map that's described in the reporting guidelines. And we would like to include the relevant authorization that was given under the Mining Management Act for any work or any subsequent environmental license now issued under the Environment Protection Act. So that's just a cross reference for us. And the most important thing here to remember, there is a new email for submission of company reports, all types of reports. So that's the technical ones, annuals and finals, the expenditure production and your resource reserve report. So mineral reporting, nt.gov.au. We'll be using that instead of geoscience.info, as you have been for years. Obviously, if something gets sent to Geoscience Info, it will be looked at and actioned, but really encourage you to start using mineral.reporting. And again, refer to the mineral reporting guidelines, and the link is there. One thing we're doing very slowly, admit, but is also we're gradually not making any changes to the forms and the guidelines and that is, but they obviously all need to reflect the new department name and many things, and obviously with the new email we need to reflect where it's listed on any of our documents. So resourcing the territory website, just some updates. I hope you all look at it fairly regularly. But over the last year, there's been a new lithium fact sheet. Obviously, all of the information is updated fairly regularly. But the new lithium commodity fact sheet is listed under the minerals menu. You can see there and highlighted. And the other area that's highlighted there, the mineral industry development sort of sub-menu, is a new page called the minerals industry plan. So this was all the work coming out of the mineral development task force and what's happening there going forward. And the other thing that changed a lot is the mining develops in the NT, the report that just summarises all of the activities and developing projects in the NT. So the most direct way, it's not the only way, but the most direct way to find it is under the data and publications menu on the website. See up there, and there's a subheading there for the report itself. And this report has been completely reformatted, updated. It's issued 3 times a year. It summarizes the operating mines, the mines on care and maintenance, developing projects, and gives details on those individual mines and projects. So it's a nice summary, and obviously you can download the PDF. So coming to the last section, just some of these dot in particular mentioned. You might see a couple of the others mentioned going forward in some of the other talks. This is just the review of sort of the recent releases over the last few months. So there's 6 records, including those ones. I think Dot mentioned most of those. The sedimentology and mineral potential of the Birrinduda Basin, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and compressed air energy storage potential of the onshore basins. There was another assessment of mine waste secondary prospectivity at the Cosmo mine, and stratigraphic characterization of the Pine Creek origin, and the geothermal power generation prospectivity report 23. And of course, the very popular Critical Minerals in the Northern Territory guide has had its latest version issued February, I think it was 2025, February, March. Not mentioned dip 43, so that was the only new dip in the last 12 months. The Birrinduda 3D data compilation had update of dip one, the anti-drilling and geochemical data set. So it was released in 2024. It included the new formats and the new layers that Marianne will explain, expound. And a new version with the latest bachelor data included is about to be released. Quite ready yet. There were three high logger data packages there, two from the National Drilling Initiative in the East Tennant, one on the Sandras deposit in the Pine Creek origin. As Tanya's already mentioned, the preliminary data for the Pine Creek ground gravity survey. I had critical minerals twice there. So there, it's very said very popular. And um, for those of you who may not know, there's a couple of versions in other languages too, if that's useful for you. And obviously, we do regular updates to the resource in the territory maps and fact sheets that you can download from the website. And of course, well, I know you don't have it in your hand yet, but we've just released the Aegis to 2025 proceedings. That is up on the website for everybody, and the individual papers and presentations will be available. Hopefully, it should be later in the next couple of days. And just finally, my update, keeping up to date. Obviously, you can visit the Resource in the Territory website, but you can subscribe to the NTGS monthly alert, which there are links on the website, so you get an email when there's new things happening. You also haven't got it mentioned it for a while. You can actually set up alerts on Gemmas for the different collections, so you get an email when something new is added to one of the collections, whether it's company reports or the products. And of course, you can always email or call us at the info centre. And some of us will be at the booth if you want to come visit. And I'd like you to, Rossa Campo will be there to answer questions about strike and show you strike. And Letha Caps is our new manager of information services, and she's around here too. Mari Walsh is here if you've got any questions about the mineral reporting. And I've mentioned Marianne will be presenting later. So thank you all. That's it from me.